Who's the real deal? Moses Itama. Do you know who that motherfucker is? The 20-year-old heavyweight.
Oh yes.
See what he did to Dillian White?
Yes, he's a problem.
He's a problem.
Yeah,
that guy's
is he only 20?
20 years old, slightly older than Tyson was when he won the Can't Be the Youngest Guy to ever win the title. They're so fast. He moves like a middleweight.
I know.
Here's Itama. Watch this guy.
Great for what he do, skills and his power and his attribute and he's smart.
Yeah,
he's definitely smart. He can box his ass off.
That is a bad dude. You hear me? That is a bad dude. You understand me? They don't give him the credit because we don't see him that much.
In the same weight class, I know we can fight each other, but when it comes to Moses, I enjoy watching him.
He just seemed to dominate throughout, sharp, accurate, doesn't waste any.
Yeah, he had him on the back foot from the very beginning because he's a hard, sharp puncher and he's very clever, so he puts punch in the right place and he's so quick to change from head to body, which makes him very, very dangerous.
In the demanding and relentless division of heavyweight boxing, only a rare kind of talent can capture the attention of established champions. Rising contender Moses Itama has managed to do just that, making a strong impression on the sport's top names.
Itama,
look at that.
Watch this guy.
That's that Samoan or whatever it is.
Bro, look at the skill. It's the skill, the movement back and
Dillian
forth.
White's no joke either. Dillian White's no joke. Look at this shit.
It'd be nice if you said his name right. It's Dillian, but it's all right. Bro, he tuned this guy up. One round, man. I mean, again, White is past his prime.
He's also gotten beat up. White's gotten...
Sure. Tyson Fury beat him up. A lot of guys
but
beat
this
him
is
up,
the
but
test
still,
you want for this young contender.
It's the way he did it. He did it like, I'm a world champion.
Mop the floor with him.
Didn't Deontay Wilder start him as well?
I think he's a good kid. I've said in the past that I think he can be a champion, and I do think, just like I said with Jared Anderson, I think Jared and Moses are very, very both good fighters. However, there's a lot of temptation. There's a lot of stuff outside of boxing that makes fighters not achieve what they should have done. And it's the same old story. If I woulda, shoulda, coulda. If I didn't get involved with these people, if I didn't go out and drink, if I didn't get involved with this, that and the other, then I would have if I woulda, shoulda, coulda. That's why I can sit here today and say I always wanted to not be a woulda, shoulda, coulda guy. I am the guy who did everything he could. And they're only starting off a career, so if they can stay on the right path and away from all the idiots, away from the women, away from the drunken nights, away from all the cranks, then I believe both of them can go on and win well.
Adam Smith didn't hold back when reacting to Moses Itama's knockout victory against Germaine Franklin, describing the ending as powerful and a major statement. With that result, Itama made history as the first fighter to stop Franklin, leaving those at ringside in shock and strengthening the belief that this rising heavyweight is quickly turning into a serious threat in the division.
I don't think there's been a better Magnificent Seven than tonight. What a night. What a really good show. Even matches, fantastic stories, drama, knockdowns, beautiful boxing. We had everything. I don't know what I'd go out remember. Obviously, Moses, dynamic, phenomenal, an incredible performance, and we're all sort of wow and excited about him.
Indeed. And then with regards to Moses, everyone's giving him the plaudits, which he fully deserves. Did you pick up any weaknesses tonight? Anything that you think, maybe they need to work on that?
He got caught and he smiled. It was just in front of us. I think that's good. You're going to get wet in boxing at some stage, and he's had everything go his way. Look, I mean, it was a 95% dominant performance, wasn't it? But it was good that Germaine Franklin threw a few, and he was really brave in there. He could have sat it out after that temple shot in the third round, but the bell just about got there, and he came back a little bit in the fourth. And I just think Moses kept his composure. I think he wanted to get him out of there in very, very quick fashion, maybe in a round or two, and he got back to the corner and Ben just calmed him down and he got back to the game plan. I thought he worked the body brilliantly. He feinted fantastically tonight. I thought he was very aggressive. He stood in front of him. I think he wanted to make that statement, but I didn't see the uppercut coming, so I'm sure Germaine Franklin or his team didn't either.
Former world champion Carl Froch, widely recognized for his straightforward opinions, along with experienced analyst Johnny Nelson, known for his deep technical understanding, were clearly impressed by Moses Itama. They pointed out his explosive finishing ability, drawing comparisons to the raw power once seen in a young Mike Tyson.
But initially, I could see, I liked how Moses was smart, he was clever. He didn't use his brute force as a big guy. He used brain. He boxed. That southpaw style, jab to the head, jab to the body, veer the shots, like he was on the punch bag, kept his distance, didn't get giddy and exciting. And that kind of calm and patience for a man at 20 years old going into his biggest test at this stage. It doesn't matter what age Dillian was at. It was a case of how he dealt with the pressure and how he dealt with the pace, how he dealt with the situation. Do you remember when Frank Bruno staggered Mike Tyson? And he, oh my God, you get excited and you get drunk on the success. None of that from Moses. Moses was cool. And so that probably would have happened at some point, because he showed initially in that first minute, he just had it all going from in the right.
Nelson pointed out that many fighters would have struggled to handle that level of pressure. Frock, meanwhile, praised the way Moses carried himself in the fight with a level of composure well beyond his age. That calm approach, paired with his natural knockout ability, led both analysts to notice flashes of the same intensity associated with a young Mike Tyson, an uncommon blend in today's heavyweight division.
That style, what you saw from Moses, but Moses' style, his youth, his pace, his IQ was spot on. You couldn't at that stage, was spot on. Kept his distance, used his footwork, in, out, in, jab, boom, and then varied it up, body, head, dummy to the head, with that southpaw style. So both hands. That's a lot to deal with from a young gun that's there. So you saw Dillian having to back off and trying to regroup himself. But Moses was sharp enough and smart enough to keep his distance, but keep the pressure at the same time. Yeah. So in a way, giving him no way out. And I think how he executed it was spot on. It was bang on. And you know what? I think a lot of people probably thought Moses is going to do the job, but I don't think anybody thought Moses would do the job.
A key turning point in Moses Itama's rise came during his clash with Dillian White, a performance that analysts say carried major significance. He didn't simply secure a victory. He tore through a seasoned and durable opponent in less than a round. That kind of outcome is extremely uncommon, immediately drawing attention and announcing his emergence as a legitimate threat in the division.
I'll ask you this question. Who's ever done that to Dillian White before? The answer's no one. Because 10 years ago, when Dillian White had about 1,000 less miles on the clock, AJ had him in all kinds of trouble in the first round. But Dillian survived. He came through and he lasted until the 7th with Anthony Joshua. I think Tyson Fury took 6 to take out Dillian White, and Povetkin did him in 5, but Dillian White did avenge that loss. So it's fair to say that although we've seen Dillian White beaten and knock spark out, this is the quickest we have ever seen it done. And that's why I don't want to take anything away from Moses Itauma and say, well, it was always going to happen. And yes, many pundits did predict this to happen. But I'm happy to sit here and personally say that I didn't think it was going to happen, not in one round.
Analysts emphasized that Dillian White was not lacking fitness or significantly declined when he stepped in with Moses Itama. He remained an experienced and dangerous competitor, backed by solid wins and time spent competing at the highest level.
Really felt like we were going to get a showing out of the body snatcher, and despite me not feeling like he was going to win the fight, I did think we would see enough from him to show that he still has a little bit more to offer in this heavyweight division. And there is still a question there of whether he does or not, because many of the pundits that you'll see at the moment are saying that Dillian White should retire, but they're not saying the same about Derek Chisora. They're not saying the same about plenty of fighters. And they did say the same about Joseph Parker after Joe Joyce beat him. So I wouldn't be so quick to write him off. But at the pinnacle of the heavyweight division, not anymore for Dillian White, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean that the body snatcher can't still be in fun fights. And hopefully in more fun build-ups, because this one was a little bit dull, and a lot of people were saying that it's because Dillian's scared, he's rocked up, he's not confident.
Derek Chisora pointed out that Itama's youth can be deceptive. The way he combines intensity, control, and determination makes him a far more serious threat than people might assume. Chisora even questioned the decision behind the matchup, suggesting that White may not have been prepared to face such a dangerous opponent after time away from the ring.
Compare Moses to Mike Tyson, do you understand? Because No, you can't. No,
you actually can't.
So do you think it's a bit unfair that he?
I mean, like everybody's trying to say he's like, Mike Tyson. It's a lie. There's only one Mike Tyson. I don't know why we're trying to put his name again with Mike Tyson. No.
He's
Mike
Moses.
Tyson,
He's Moses.
Mike Tyson smokes weed. Mike Tyson is a vicious guy. Moses is not that guy. Mike Tyson didn't have his dad around. Moses got his dad, his mum, his brothers. You cannot compare that. Even in the ring, it's different. Listen, guys didn't want to spar Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Guys didn't want to fight Mike Tyson. You understand? Let me explain that to you, understand? People used to get to the stadiums before they opened to see Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Mike Tyson is different.
I think what Moses was comparing himself being to win it at 20 years of age.
I don't care. There's only one Mike Tyson. You cannot compare.
Is that
I don't care.
I'm with Derek on this.
I'm certainly not going to argue.
Moses is Moses.
Yeah.
He's got his own path. So we cannot compare Moses to Mike Tyson. Never. Yeah. Could never do that. Yeah, there's always been one Muhammad Ali. Everybody's tried it, and they cannot do it.
Yes.
Yeah?
100%.
Do you understand? So people cannot say, oh, it's that man. No. There's only one Mike Tyson, and there's only one Muhammad Ali.
That's it. And there only will ever be one Mike Tyson and one.
Joseph Parker's trainer has also recognized Moses Itama's rapid rise, describing him as a future star in boxing. He noted that a potential bout between Parker and Itama would be both exciting and significant for the young contender, potentially serving as a stepping stone toward a world title opportunity.
Moses Itauma is as good as we all think he is. He wins the fight, and he wins it in fashion.
Yeah, Moses Itama, it's almost like they're picking opponents for him already. One of the opponents that has been at least earmarked for Moses this year maybe is Joseph Parker. Let's hear from Joseph Parker's manager and trainer, Andy Lee. This is what he had to say about a potential Joseph Parker versus Moses Itauma showdown.
For me, Moses is the future of the heavyweight division. For Moses, it's a risky fight. For Joe, it's a risky fight because there's no upside to beat Moses for Joe. There is. He's building his name. He's significant heavyweight now, Moses, but he's an up and coming guy, and Joe's already at the top.
Moses Itama versus Joseph Parker.
Of course, I think Joseph Parker is the interim champion. Moses is number one. That title becomes vacant. That's how that fight happens.
Yeah.
That title, Alexander Usyk decides he doesn't want to go in against Joseph Parker because that's the next fight that's been mandated by the WBO. He relinquishes that title. Then it's a must-happen fight because it's a case of Moses Itauma getting the opportunity against Joseph Parker with the world title on the line. So you think that's enough temptation for me to go right now because there's a lot of people talking about don't go too soon and all that, but when you get those sort of opportunities, maybe that is the right fight. I mean, I don't know where you're at on that, Simon, but I think...
ready for a Joseph Parker? I mean, yeah, if he's number one in the division, the validity of that fight for both fighters sits up on the fact that if the belt's stripped away from Alexander Usyk, which we think it will because he'll vacate and not take the fight against Joe Parker.
Long before entering the professional scene, Moses Itama had already built an impressive base. During his amateur career, he remained undefeated with 24 victories, including 11 stoppages, and captured gold medals at school, junior, youth European, and world competitions. Clear indicators of his advanced abilities from an early stage. Even at just 18, observers highlighted his refined footwork, solid defense, and sharp combinations, all reflecting years of structured training and in-ring experience. This strong foundation developed him into a calm and strategic fighter, allowing him to transition into the professional ranks earlier than most. His commitment from the beginning has paved the way for his rapid progress, which now appears effortless as he performs with the confidence and accuracy of a far more seasoned boxer.
How many amateur fights he'd had. For someone who looked so polished and was turning pro so young, bear in mind he'd only just turned 18 at the time, right? This is 2 years ago, 3 years ago now. I really wanted to know how many amateur fights he had to look as polished as he did. And in that interview, he told me it was something like 22, 23 amateur fights, which is really, it's quite a low amount. It was a bit of a kind of land when he said it. I remember at the time thinking, huh? And then obviously you're interviewing, so you want to try and get the next question. You don't want to be just stopped in your tracks, but it genuinely nearly did stop me in my tracks, given how polished he looked at how good he looked, you know, I was thinking, yikes, that's actually a bit of a strange one for someone to look that polished in such short.
Andy Lee, a well-regarded trainer and former fighter, shared an insightful look into Moses Itama's preparation behind the scenes. He recalled sparring sessions with Joseph Parker, where the young heavyweight matched up directly with a former world champion in intensely competitive rounds. According to Lee, these sessions went far beyond routine practice. They were fierce battles. His perspective carries weight, as sparring often reveals traits that don't always show during official fights. The fact that Moses was able to stand his ground and even challenge Parker in demanding exchanges highlights his readiness for elite-level competition. Considering Parker's reputation for toughness and skill, it's especially notable for a rising fighter to make that kind of impression so early in his career.
I was fighting Zhang. Moses came out for a couple of weeks, and yeah, they had some great spars. Great spars. They were tough spars. Tough 4 round. They went to war basically for the 4 rounds. 4 rounds that Moses was in, it was like a war. And yeah, he's a good guy to be around as well. We enjoyed his company. It's justified to an extent because he's doing what he should be doing. He's knocking out all his opponents in a great style. And people like knockouts, you know, so if you win by knockout, it gets people's attention. I think, it's warranted, some of the hype. In this day and age, it's always over too much. The criticism too much and the hype is too much on either end of the spectrum. But he's still young and still developing, still has things to learn and improve on, but for right now, he's doing everything right.
Moses Itama has emphasized his goal of building his reputation by taking on tough British opponents as he progresses through the heavyweight division. Instead of looking for easy fights, he's setting his sights on established domestic fighters like Solomon Dakers to prove his abilities and earn recognition within the UK. Itama sees these strong local matchups as a way to fast-track his growth, refine his skills, and accumulate significant victories that boost his credibility both nationally and internationally. His approach demonstrates ambition, focus, and strategic thinking. He's aiming not just for knockouts, but for meaningful competition that will prepare him for elite-level challenges in the future.
I think we mentioned a few names. Obviously, we've got like Justice Hooney, Dempsey McKean, Simon Keane, Tom Schwartz. But I feel like it's going to be nice to get a British fight under my belt. So I feel like I'm looking for the winner of Solomon Dakers and David Adley, Fraser Clark. Johnny Fisher did really impress me the weekend. I did not think that he was going to do that against Alan Babbage. And I feel like now he's someone to be taken serious. I don't think he's just like a ticket seller for Eddie Hearn. I actually do believe that he's a man to be taken serious now, so even that's a potential fight.
Gareth A. Davies has shared his thoughts on the exciting prospect of a future clash between Moses Itama and Anthony Joshua, suggesting that Itama has the skills and tools to challenge, or even overcome, the former world champion if the fight takes place. Davies frequently highlights Itama's rapid ascent and impressive abilities, comparing him to some of the division's established stars. He points to Itama's mix of youth, speed, power, and tactical awareness as factors that could create significant challenges for Joshua in a direct matchup. While Joshua remains one of the era's most accomplished heavyweights, Davies argues that Itama's fearlessness and physical advantages could give him the upper hand, particularly against a veteran who is slower and more predictable. This perspective has ignited discussion within the boxing world about whether a generational shift at the top could arrive sooner than expected.
Gareth Davies had this to say about AJ possibly taking on Moses Itauma. And he had to say this. He said, "I don't think Joshua gets beyond 3 rounds with this kid." Damn. Let me counterpunch. Gareth Davies, he's never been a fan of AJ because he was a fanboy of Tyson. So you know you can't have it both ways. You can't be a fanboy of Tyson and then a fan of AJ. That just won't happen. So I expect him to say that. I expect him to say something like that. But is it true? If AJ decided to fight Moses Itauma, AJ, I think, knows Moses because remember, they were in the same camp for a while. They sparred together. They shared time together. Moses never fought Dillian White or never sparred Dillian White. He sparred everybody else. Joshua, Fury, Parker. He sparred a lot of people. Akoli, the list goes on. But I'll say this. I think AJ fighting Moses Itauma, I don't know what would be in it for Moses versus what would be in it for AJ beside a hard-ass night.
Veteran boxing analyst Simon Jordan, known for his candid assessments of fighter potential, alongside experienced commentator Adam Catterall, who is respected for his technical insights, both emphasized a key, but often overlooked factor in Moses Itama's rise: his age. At just 20, Itama was already managing the kind of pressure that challenges many seasoned professionals, entering major fights with a calm confidence beyond his years. Jordan noted how sharp and intelligent Itama appeared in the ring. Catterall added that he uses his ring awareness to control the tempo and exploit opportunities creatively, rather than depending solely on raw power, while reminding viewers that despite his maturity, Itama is still very young with plenty of room to grow. This combination of tactical intelligence and youthful physicality points to a long, promising career, one that is likely to evolve further as he faces tougher competition and gains more experience.
Line event against what we would class as a commercial name. There was a lot of pressure on him last week. I think when me and Simon sat down last week on Simon's Talk Boxing show, I think we were all on the same page that we thought Ituma would come through and that he would win the fight. It was whether he would do it quick or whether he would do it late. And when you have a fight week like that, lots of the eyes of the world are on you. As a 20-year-old man, we need to keep reminding everybody just how old this young fella is. I thought he dealt with it absolutely fantastically. All week, the interviews that I watched, he looked like he would bang on. He speaks with, he's such a stoic guy, the way that he speaks with such calm and reassuredness. And then to get in there on a Saturday evening and do what he did in the manner that he did it.
You're with Adam and that, Simon. He ticked every single box.
Well, I think Adam's assessment was absolutely right about the nature of the event. A headlining event where all the focus is on him, all the pressure, to some extent, despite his protestations during interviews during the course of the week that he didn't feel under pressure. There was always this indication that there was pressure because he goes into a fight, people expect him to knock people out. People are comparing him to a young Mike Tyson. At this stage in his life, Mike Tyson had 28 fights before he fought Trevor Berbick to win a world title. This kid's had 12. The flip side of the argument is that Dillian White was, unfortunately for us, was precisely what we had forecasted, which was a lamb to the slaughter in terms of a seemingly disenfranchised fighter that wasn't mentally in the right place, it seems, at any point during the course of the last week. I think that was amplified on Saturday night, watching him walk into the ring. I know that we do have a tendency to analyse ring walks more than we once used to, but they form part of the thinking of how a boxer...
Veteran British boxer Lawrence Akoli, recognized for his success across multiple weight classes and respected for his frank evaluations, expressed strong admiration after witnessing Moses Itama's explosive first-round victory over Dillian White. Akoli didn't just praise the outcome. He stressed that Itama's performance was extraordinary for someone so young, noting that he was far from a typical 20-year-old. He pointed out how Itama blended natural power with tactical intelligence and calm composure, qualities usually seen only in experienced professionals. According to Akoli, Itama's ability to stay composed while controlling the fight's tempo and delivering precise, fight-ending shots speaks volumes about his skill and potential. This level of poise under pressure, Akoli believes, marks Itama not merely as a prodigy, but as a rising force capable of redefining expectations for fighters of his generation.
The thing is if you haven't sparred him or whatever else, you get a first-hand experience. Like, oh wow, this isn't a normal 16-year-old, 20-year-old, whatever else. It's a real fighter from young, let alone now. So,
what's your take? Could Moses Itama already be the most formidable young heavyweight in the sport? Share your thoughts down in the comments.